All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hope your morning has started better than mine. My 5-year-old has a stomach problem. She's shitting in her fucking pants. Won't let me wipe her butt. Gets shit all over the place and doesn't fucking listen. So, other than that, life is good. If you don't have kids, think twice before having them. Oh my God. Mm. Well, now I'm going to recenter and focus on the charts and not focused on my 5-year-old who's soon to be 6 acting like a 1-year-old for her entire life. So I'm sure you parents know what I'm talking about. There's always that one kid, you love them, but you can't. Ooh, boy. What's up, Adam? What's up, Jose? How you guys doing? Jose, do you want me to call you JP instead? You let me know, buddy. How you guys doing? I'm just gonna take a moment and chat with you guys and have some coffee and try to take my cortisol levels down. That's important. You never want to come to the screen and put on a trade until you feel more relaxed. And there's nothing to get you out of relaxation like little kids who drive you nuts. So let's just take a quick look at the markets. Nasdaq. Let's just start with ES. You guys watched the end of day analysis. They closed down a little from the time I did it, but hopefully you all can see bullish bias. Look at all this stack down here. This is what we want right here. This is our support zone. This is where I'll be looking for reversals long, generally speaking, on ES. Nasdaq is the same, although, I don't know if we'll get down there, but if we did, it'd be beautiful. Look at all this just stacked right there, right? So these are where the highest probability trades are going to come when you're in line with the multiple time period trading and you've got the DML stacked. That should just wait for those levels, right? Came from work, just use the time to not look at the chart since ES, yeah, they're pretty much not moving. I mean, gold, man, every day I wake up and look at gold, and I'm like, there's a great setup in Europe every single day. So you may want to start focusing on that, Adam, and those of you guys who are in the EU. Gold has just been a money giver while I've been asleep. So, we've been getting a lot of crap on the NASDAQ in terms of chop, and then it'll grind. Gold's just been beautiful. So, sometimes that's just the way it is. So now we can see, wow, look at NASDAQ there. There's a Trump tweet. Off we go. Probably Trump. I mean, it's insane. Huh. That's hysterical. So guys, these are the markets we live in. And by the way, I listen to a lot of podcasts with, people who've been around the block for quite a long time. And everybody's saying the same thing, that, these markets for everybody are extremely difficult to read, right? So just, we're doing really, really well. What, did they just announce it right now? I mean, kind of an odd time. Is that what just hit the wire? The Fed confirmed they're going to cut in September, like a guarantee, or what? Hey, what's up, Ralph? Morning, dude. Yeah, anybody let me know what the news just came out, what that was. Kind of interesting here. We're just waiting for our setups anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just kind of getting settled. Ralph, when your kids were like 5, did they ever just drive you absolutely insane? My kid did that to me this morning. She does that to me a lot. Oh, China. Okay. Morning, AJ. What's up, man? Trump called China. Okay, that's great. Trump's like, I'm calling China. The Nasdaq's going to the moon. All my buddies bought. That's funny. All right. Well, I guess it's going to do what it's going to do. Let's just keep an eye on it. We're looking for our signals here. So the Dow, pretty had the spike. We'll see. I got my levels for everything basically down here. You know, these extensions into the middle of the envelope. It's kind of where I'd like to get in, but we may not get that opportunity. We'll see. Gold, just the gift that keeps on giving in London here. Just a beautiful look. I mean, right here, you don't want to really touch that because of the double pocket, but then right there, you know, you're tagging that, pulling back up, true average. I mean, that's, if you're just trading gold, looking for setups, that's pretty darn good. Oh, yeah. So it kind of never ends, right? It never ends, right, Ralph? All my buddies who don't have kids, they're like, "Oh, I had such a stressful day." I'm like, "Dude, don't even fucking talk to me about it." Um, but it's all relative, I guess. Look, AJ, you've been operating a radio in Afghanistan. So when I talk about my little 5-year-old stressing me out, driving me nuts, it probably sounds funny to you because I haven't had bullets flying at my face while I'm trying to operate a radio, and you have. So stress is all relative, right? Oh man. Um, let's see. On my laptop. Okay, Adam, don't worry about it, buddy. It's cool, bro. Thanks, man. AJ, I've been studying my butt off. The only way is the right way. I booted my YouTube channel. I want to sound like I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, dude. I mean, Ralph, you should start a YouTube channel. David, our amigo, he's starting a YouTube channel. He's going to do the Spanish thing. AJ, you can start a YouTube channel. You know, you could really talk a lot about, you know, correlations between, you know, being in the military and trading and the discipline it takes. And, you know, we can do special deals for vets, you know, things like that. That could be cool. Ralph, I mean, you've got a lot of experience in the mortgage industry. There's probably a way to tie that into your channel. So definitely, I understand. You guys got to get going a little more first, you know. That totally makes sense to me. I understand that. Oh yeah, Ralph. I mean, you see like Ralph and as soon as you really start studying hard, AJ, you'll start getting the analysis. I mean, the reason that Ralph and Adam and David are getting the analysis so good so fast is because you know, they've all put in a lot of time, you know, to get there. And what's good about that is it shows that it's possible, right? So that's awesome. It's not just Andy who can make money with VolPro Edge. It's lots of people, and that's what I knew, and that's what I brought it out here. All right, I don't want to miss anything. So silver to the moon. Pretty nice little pullback there on silver for a trend continuation trade. We're pretty well overextended, but my goodness, have we just, you know, I probably wouldn't take this because we've just come too far. But look at that. See, this is the kind of thing I'm talking about, guys, in London and Asia now. It's just a lot of moves are happening there. That's a nice pullback right there. Pocket. Yeah, you broke that, but you got these right here, and it's just so strong, right? So I mean, that's a quick 40 cents in silver. That's almost $2,500 per contract, right? So Asia, London's been the place to be lately, man. I'll tell you, good moves. New York's been the place to watch fucking grass grow lately. All right, just getting this kind of crap, right? So let's let I just want to go through the markets here, just kind of get settled here. So gold, silver, I mean, nice move there. So gold, I think we talked about this in the analysis. You know, that's why I said, you guys, I think you're starting to understand too, right? Like you got a pocket there on gold, but you know, we said don't think that that is a good pocket to sell, you know, because we're trending up, right? You broke through all that support. That's where you want to look to buy, right? So I think you guys are getting it. Yeah, and then you guys could collaborate as well with your YouTube channels and with mine, and it'd be really cool. Yeah, I get it, AJ. Well, I mean, look, sometimes you can use foul language. I drop the F-bomb here and there. It's worth it. What's up, Sean? Good morning, bro. Good to see you, dude. We're just kind of getting settled here. Disney quality language, yeah. Sounds good, AJ. Nice to have you here, Sean. Nice to have all of you here. So we're just kind of getting settled. Trump's tweeting, so we should have an interesting day. Remember, we have non-farm payrolls tomorrow, so we'll see what happens today. I have to stop at around, I think around 1 today, maybe. So I can only stream for about 4 hours instead of 5 or 6 hours. I've got to go and we've got to drive about 45 minutes to a civil registration place and register the baby because, we had a home birth, so the baby wasn't automatically registered at the hospital. So we have to go register the baby, and there's no place to do it here in Hako. So I have to go drive there. Anyways, that'll be nice to get that done. Hopefully we'll have a good day before then. We got lots of time. Let me know how the volume and all that stuff's coming through. I think it's fine. All right. So we'll start going off. I just want to look at Nasdaq real quick. The Nas. Yeah, it could be like a flush to. I wouldn't short this by any stretch of the imagination, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it drop. It definitely could. Anyways, I'm just rearranging some stuff here. That's got to go over there. That's there. That's there. Let me just check something here. Give me a sec, guys. I'm just doing something here. One quick sec. Just getting Tradeify and all this stuff kind of going here, guys. All right, so let's wait for the indices to do what they need to do. Get my coffee. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, the indices are still bullish, but that looks kind of like an emotional algo-driven spike. Those tend to kind of fade back into the range, which is what you'll see here. Like that. You guys see that big move down. Just going to keep an eye on this for a sec. Definitely some chop going on here for sure. Some volatility's in here. It's like the algos are kind of, wrestling with it. Yeah, so I mean, lately in Asia and London, you've just got some fantastic moves, especially like in gold today in silver. I mean, that market's just going up like that. For those of you that you can take advantage of those, I mean, it's just a fantastic opportunity. Let's go ahead and check. Ralph, I know you said you got, yeah, Crude was a pretty darn good end of day call there for sure. But you guys see what I mean, right? So, it's a great call. We're on the right side, most time, which is fantastic. But that's the tricky part here is like, okay, do you just get in at market? Well, if you do, you kind of got to stop it way back here. That's a pretty big stop. Or do you set your limit order down here, near the DMLs, right? And then put your stop there. Well, then you don't get filled. So hopefully you guys see that, these are the nuances of trading where, analysis is number one, right? You've got to be able to analyze and have a system that works. VolPro Edge works. You got to be able to be on the right side of the market. That's very helpful. And you got your key spots, which we have, and you got different ways to play it. But then in terms of these nuances, right? there's lots of little nuances into making it all come together. And that's what I'm trying to help you guys, get good at. And that's what takes some time, right? And that's time and experience, with how to play these. So that was the crude call. Let's look at ultra bonds. I don't even know what ultra bonds did. So ultra bonds have pushed higher. So there you go. I said there could be some resistance there. We certainly blew straight through that. So that was that would have been a loss. Crude would have been a win. So yeah, right now these markets, I'm noticing they're challenging for like end of day / swing trading, which is why I'm kind of I would love to get into some swing trades, and I will. And even the end of days when they're there, they can be really good. But you got to kind of have a mixed bag so you can make money day trading while you're waiting for good swing setups and all that kind of stuff, right? So Adam, volatility, yeah, exactly. It's not done. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping for a dump down on the Nasdaq off of that, but who knows? The market's pretty bullish, but I want to get back down to the middle of the envelope to maybe trigger a reversal back up down there later. Well, hey Ralph, that's great. See on crude, Ralph. I mean, on the volume chart here with crude, I mean, it's pretty much just been straight up, So maybe was it the 2000 volume chart that shook you out, Ralph? What's up, Christian? Good morning, buddy. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I think adding and adjusting the stop, that's not easy to do, but you want to when you add, you're probably going to still have to accept some risk. But these are things that take a long time, learning to hold and add. It's probably the hardest thing in trading. So the fact that you're already trying it, Ralph, is fantastic. And I think that's wonderful. I think all of you should try to hold and add, because that's where the trading is at. That's what I'm working on. I've never really been a good hold and adder. I mean, I've always been really good at getting in, making my money, get out, being very consistent. But in terms of holding and adding, that's something I really want to work on, which is why I'm doing that now. So yeah. All right, let's go ahead and look at, so ES here. No reversals, here for now in terms of what I'm looking for. No trend trades. Nasdaq's kind of the same. Could do anything. It's kind of just kind of wrestling in this zone. The Dow kind of the same here. Looks like it could be flashing, but nothing I'm going to take. Still pretty tight. Russell, nothing I'm interested in there. Just catching up as we start to head into some alerts. So gold reversing here. So I got to ask myself, on this right here, even if I had been in front of the screen, would I have taken that reversal? Probably not. I mean, it's kind of back into the middle of this range here. Gold overall is still, pretty darn bullish. So I wouldn't have taken that. Silver, I mean, just probably some beautiful opportunities. Just see, that's the thing too. Like, right, I said yesterday in the analysis, I said, look, I don't know, silver could pick these DMLs and shoot up, or could pick them up and shoot down. But if we shoot up and we start taking out that extension, watch for that. Well, there you go. I mean, so that's also why it's good. You've got to be proactive in seeing where these markets, what's going on and what they're doing and all that kind of stuff, right? Because we've got the analysis, but the market will also, present other opportunities like this that maybe you can't really foresee heading into the new daily open. But, those opportunities are there, especially when you're looking at all these markets. So silver right now, so you can see, that right when we jumped on, I looked at this right here. I said, oh, silver's heading up. There's a pullback into a pocket. Oh, look, you've got the extension. I said, oh, should I buy that? And I was like, no, because we've already done, way over the average daily range. So you guys are getting that, right? That you don't want to try and jump on a trend. It's those are the worst trades. And I've learned this through lots and lots of mistakes, right? Where you you wait, you finally get in on the trend, and then it you know, collapses, right? And that happens because um, that it's already done too much of its range. So that's something to be aware of. I think that's helping a lot of people as well. Just stay out of bad situations. All right, so let's look at copper. Copper is also just having a monster day, similar to silver. So if we got up to the extension there on copper, you know, anywhere up in that area, that could be a good spot to maybe look for a temporary reversal, or even if we get back down here on a pullback, you know, these are the two key levels. So we'll just keep a lookout for that. Platinum, absolutely on fire. I mean, look at these metals, guys. Incredible. Ultra bonds. So that's kind of interesting. There's it's not a bad little reversal right there, to be honest, on ultra bonds. You've got a lot of resistance up in here, so that's something I would keep an eye on. It's not really, we don't have like a daily level to lean against there, so I probably won't take it, but I'm still kind of curious to keep an eye on that. Just catching up on comments here while I have some coffee. Yeah, Ralph's working on that. That's awesome. I was up on the euro the night before and did the same thing. Yeah, exactly. When it works. And I would use, yeah, the intraday volume charts to try and add, and, you know, which is probably what you're doing, I guess, Ralph, right? So Christian, holding is getting easier, playing the micros. Yeah. Yeah, loosening the stops, and that's a good place, because it is harder to hold when you're sizing up, and then you know these, and then you're adding on big size, and then those little gyrations are worth a lot of money, right? It's like that's not easy. Mm. So yeah, what time is it? We got 9:08, so the market will open here shortly, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, so I don't think ultra bonds are a bad reversal from here. You got this trending down, but let's just see what that does. Crude to the moon. So crude at this point, you know, we, like I've been talking about, we could be headed for that extension on the weekly 65. That's up in here, the daily extension. So I think this crude trend run's looking pretty good. Whereas if we get a pullback today like this, I would definitely want to jump on board that and try and hold and add, you know, up to 65. So let's just see if we can get a pullback in the middle of the trend for crude today. That would be nice. I'd be interested in that. Heating oil, yeah, same thing as crude. Gasoline will be very similar. Probably headed up here. Nat gas, still kind of chopping around a little bit. Let's see. And then the grains and the livestock don't open for 20 minutes. Reopen on the grains. So yeah, it's kind of where we are. We just got a so there's been, this is how it's been lately for me anyways, like waking up and seeing some pretty phenomenal moves overnight while I'm sleeping, and then New York's just kind of been, you know, yawn. And sometimes that happens, you know. It's just, it is what it is. There's not much you can do about it. I can't stay up all night, and the algos aren't ready. But when the algos are ready, this is the kind of stuff I can't wait to start capitalizing on, you guys. Like it's just, and that's why the algos are going to be huge as well, because this is what I'm working on, even for the swing trading and the end of day trades for the algos. So, you know, oftentimes, let's say on crude, I mean, you didn't get it here really, but on crude, if you you know, program the algo to buy a pullback pocket, you know, oftentimes you'll get that, right? So heating oil, I mean, straight up, I wouldn't really, that didn't close on the low there, but so the algos are going to help with that a lot as well, not missing, you know, as many of those end of day trades that kind of maybe just don't get to your entry order, or, you know, whatever. Those are going to help a lot. So I'm excited about that. Let's look at, so we got an order, we got an alert for crude, which at this point we're just heading up. Silver alert. That's, you know, I kind of need a steeper pullback than that. And now we're not really trending. We're kind of chopping up here. So wouldn't be surprised just to see, you know, a lot of consolidation on silver up here after this big move. So this is the thing, right? London, Asia, London, just beautiful. And then New York, just garbage. Copper, probably going to be the same. So we'll just do our best and keep monitoring and see what the markets give us, guys. It's all we can do while we wait for alerts. So here's the Nasdaq. Just kind of keep an eye on this while we wait for other things to set up. It seems like it's just waiting for the open here. I would love to see a reversal on the Nasdaq. You know, an opportunity to get long down here around 21,620, because that's the middle of the envelope there in the daily, right there. You've got the extension trend DML stack. So that's a beautiful level right there on NQ. And just gotta wait for those levels to get tagged, you know. So kind of what I'm waiting for. You guys got any questions? So yeah, it's gonna be nice when my daughter gets her stomach under control, and you know, we don't go through 10 pairs of underwear every day, and she starts listening. It's gonna be nice. I don't know when that day is gonna come, but it'll be incredible when it does. Let's see what NQ does here. You guys take any other trades overnight? Those of you in London or Asia? Adam, do you take any trades? Or because Adam, I think you're just watching NQ, right? I would really encourage you to expand that out to gold and silver, because you know, maybe even copper. The metals move really, really well in your time zone. Very, you know, the currencies also, but I would add metals to the, yeah, I think gold would be a good one. You know, silver is not bad. Just gonna see what Zero Hedge has to say real quick about whatever that volatility was. Oh yeah, there you go. So that's all it is. Chinese media, right? Totally trust that. Any media. You can't trust any media. So Chinese media report that Trump and Xi held a phone call. I mean, let's see what they say about that. So hours after Bloomberg reported that the Chinese Foreign Ministry said there's no information to share on any type of collaboration between Trump and Xi. So that was like from Bloomberg. And then from the Chinese media, all of a sudden, you know, they held a call. So now everybody's waiting on Trump to comment on his Truth Social account. So that's why futures are waiting to see if Trump comes out and confirms that call or not. So expect some volatility here, guys. We got the open. We got Trump, you know, going to tell us, you know, if that call actually happened or not. So that'll be interesting. We'll just have to wait and see. These are definitely very, very interesting markets we're living in, guys. So if you're new to trading and you're just not getting killed, you're doing really well. If you're making money, you're doing fantastic. So I think we're doing great. So Nasdaq trying to dip a little bit, which would be nice. Oh gosh. Let's see. Flat today, include gold. Come on, markets rallying from that. That's just funny. Yeah, no, exactly. This is all it's clown show for sure. Traders resume fully pricing in a Fed rate cut. Okay. Yeah, I mean I'm pretty sure the rate cuts are coming, but a lot of that I think is already built in, you know. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I mean, I just focus on the charts because that's all the information is baked into price, right? And we can chart price very well with VolPro Edge. So, and then when something like this happens, then I want to know, like, oh, what was that? Because you can kind of get a sense of, you know, if it's bullshit or not. Kind of hoping to get a little flusheroo. So you can buy the Nasdaq way down there at, it's really not that far away, you know. The support I like down there, 620, 630 by Nasdaq standards, that's not very far. We've got the open here in about 13 minutes, so looks like price is just kind of hanging out, waiting for that. Usually moves like this like to kind of bleed back lower, but you just don't know. Meanwhile, we're getting some alerts, but I mean, there's not, I can already see like heating oil. You know, we got an alert there. I'm not going to do anything with that, but I will, you know, I'm going to expand my, I love looking for the reversals. We're looking for trades really where we can hold and add. Um, but I'm also going to be, you know, if I see good congestion setups or whatever, we're definitely going to take them. So silver just kind of chopping around after that beautiful move in London, started in Asia. What's ES doing? ES is about halfway back down. I wouldn't be surprised to see these things come back down to the lows. I really wouldn't. And then probably chop around for the day. Had it waiting for NFP tomorrow. It's kind of what I'm thinking, but you never know. Yeah, it's, I mean, if there's a good day to take off, probably today. Indices are probably going to be pretty choppy, I think, before NFP. And the metals have already made big moves. The energies, I mean, I'm going to stick around because we might get a pullback in energies that I might want to buy. That could be a good trend trade. Could get a good reversal long on the indices, you know, down in these key support levels. So I'm going to be here as long as I can for a few hours before I got to go to the civil registration and register baby Olivia with my family. I hope my daughter is listening and behaving today. Yesterday, she fought the driver to get out of the car and go into her school. So, hoping that doesn't happen again today. So we got, keep looking at that damn clock. We got the open in 9 minutes. Kind of looking like it may want to punch up there and suck in some more longs. Just let it do its thing. I'm hoping it dumps, but that's just because I want to buy down lower. We'll see. We've got 8 minutes, guys. I'm just going to refill a little coffee. I'll be right back. Let me know if you got any questions. All right, how we doing? So Aaron, the commodity is going on Top Step TV tomorrow. We got to support him. And when he mentions VolPro Edge, you guys, we got to bomb the chat with VolPro Edge. So let's all be ready for that. I think he's going on at like 1 Eastern, so we should all be having that up while he's on so we can comment. Oh, so about 5 minutes. And copper, see, copper is just kind of pushing here. I think 1 p.m. Eastern, but I'll confirm with Aaron. I'm not really sure, AJ, but yeah, I'll check with that. I think 1 p.m. Eastern, so yeah, that'll be cool. Be a lot of fun. Let's see the Russell, kind of dumping. Dow, you see the Dow's got a little flash there, probably trying to dump. ES trying, Nasdaq trying, but so far steady. We'll see. Comes a little bit of selling right there. It's getting pretty wild. I mean, that was crazy, that move. That was basically 740 to 900, 160 points on that Trump, or that Chinese media speculation. So got about 2,300 contracts until this higher time period Nasdaq closes. Right now, pretty volatile, just waiting for the open. I mean, it's pretty crazy, but I mean, I kind of think that people in high positions of power, like the president or the treasury secretary or whatever, like you shouldn't be allowed to tweet because you know you can move markets. So you can't tell me that they're not tipping off their buddies, sometimes like, hey, wink, wink, you may want to be long the Nasdaq around 9:30 tomorrow because I'm going to tweet something. I mean, the amount of corruption is probably off the charts. So I think that that should not be allowed. But we live in a strange world. Yeah, they have too much power, and obviously it's just way too easy to exploit that power. Think about how much money, you know, imagine if you know the president's going to do something at a certain time or whatever, and you know, just imagine that. It's just crazy, right? So the market's going to open here in about 2 minutes. Still a lot of support down here. I mean, the markets are still bullish overall, so we'll just have to see what happens. It's a pretty good spread on Nasdaq. It's like 3 points probably on average. So we got 30 seconds. Five seconds. There's the open. So I don't know why that's doing that with the high low there. I'll have to figure that out. Is what it is. Just kind of waiting. I don't know why that's doing that. I'll see. Strange. All right, just getting everything organized. Let's see, why is that doing that? High low. Just decided to kind of want to, yeah, the high low just switched its input time. It's like, you know what? We're just gonna make it 9:30. you know, so that's funny. So we're going to go start time 18 and finish time 18. Default. There we go. So yeah, that was funny. It just weird, like it just changed it on its own, which is really strange. All right. So I do kind of think we're going back down here, guys. That's what I'm waiting for on the indices. Let's make sure we don't miss any reasonable alerts. Let's adjust everything here. Pretty choppy so far. Not surprising, day before NFP. See here, hang on a sec. That was, yeah, we got the cattle market, all that kind of stuff. So let's just see here. Hogs opened. Cattle's opening. Could be a pretty good reversal there on cattle, to be honest. I'm just short a little cattle right here. Stop is basically 14.8. Just above the high. If we start to break through this, I'll be out. I mean, if this starts to break, I'm just going to cut it. I'll go 14.4 as the stop. We'll see. I mean, I like the trade, so if it loses, I'm okay with it. I'll explain afterwards. Looking now like I'm going to probably get taken out. Then I learn a lesson with cattle at the open. Yep, I'm out on cattle. So I lost 400 bucks on my trade-ifies, but you know, I don't mind that trade, to be honest with you. I'm kind of okay with that because we gapped up into this pocket here. I mean, we weren't leaning against the extension on the daily yet, that's true, but you know, with this here reversing down like that, and then you broke the extension, you had all this here. I think that was a good trade, so I'm okay with that. All right, so just keep the situation. I'm just going to be more aggressive, guys. Like, I think the last few days being like, oh, I shouldn't. If I just take all those, it's just, there'll be more losses, but there's going to be more wins as well. So still, you know, want to take good spots, but just not be quite as picky. See, corn. So corn has a lot of resistance here, but I need to see what it does. Let's look at crude. Crude really pushing. Got to get some kind of a pullback. Let's look at ultra bonds. So that was, yeah, like not really leaning against too much there on ultra bonds. I'm going to wait. There's ES. Let's look at, this is feeder cattle. Just waiting. Let's look at gasoline. Here's ES. Pretty darn choppy here. NQ. Let's just go ahead and bring this up here. Very, very choppy. I mean, look at this yesterday in NQ, and now I wouldn't be surprised to see much of the same here. Yeah, Adam definitely took that Trump move back. I kind of expected that to happen. Dow is pushing down here. Got a lot of support down here on the Dow, so this could be a spot where I'd be willing to either look for a reversal or maybe even just take the Dow if it looks like you got a good congestion pattern down there. I wouldn't be opposed to it, so let's go ahead and look at the Dow. We've got the Dow triggering now and the Russell. So the Dow is looking a little lower, which I like. So for now, I'm just waiting because the Dow is coming out of this exhaust and we're breaking that extension there. So I want to see if we get down here, see if it stabilizes. Let's look at wheat, and then we'll back to cattle. So wheat's trying to push. That's kind of why I said don't short that pocket last night. Let's look at cattle. So now cattle's tagging. You got the daily extension and the weekly extension up here, but I don't have a signal. I mean, yeah, I mean, I like that pattern right there. I really do. That's okay. I just want to look back at it and go, okay, is that good? Yeah, that was good. Didn't work, but it was good. So there's the Dow. And you know, there are certain patterns, like I'm going to be really aggressive with these tradeifys because they don't mean as much to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, it'd be cool to get them to payouts, but I'm more just like working on this system. And then when I see something I'm like, I can't pass up, I'm going to try to remember to switch to my XFAs. Like, you know, the Nasdaq on Friday, Ralph. Yeah, that was nice to get, you know, all those wins in my tradeifys, but it would have been nicer to get those in my XFAs, and I just forgot because that was, you know, that was just such an amazing setup. So there's the Dow. Just waiting to see if we get down here. A lot of support there on the daily. ES, you're jumping down there as well. So could have some good trades down here, guys. We'll see. And see if we hold and add. So let's see. ES, still got quite a few. I'm bringing up the lower time periods because we're getting Nasdaq. We're not close yet. Dow, we're close. You can see it already tagged the daily extension there. So let's see. I'll wait for the, you know, I'm not just going to go in here. So there, it changed my high low on the day here as well. So that's unfortunate that that's doing that on these, but I'll just have to remove and add, and then hopefully my defaults will reset. Thank you. Sierra charts doesn't do that very often, you know, where you get like a ghost in a bug in the machine. So yeah, these could be this could be right where we want to, you know, this could be good. We'll see, huh? And Q. There's the Dow. Nice little lower time period flash right into the daily extension. But I just want to wait and see what this one does here. I mean, if this closes like that, that'd be pretty beautiful because you'd have the extension, the true average. I'd like that a lot. But we still have some volume left to be traded here. Let's look at silver. Not really interested in that. ES, just kind of wait and see if we get down here. I mean, look at, it's all stacked nice and close here. You got the crossover. You got the envelope top from yesterday. I mean, you got a lot of support there, 59.65 on ES. So see if we can get down there for a long potentially. Nasdaq, you know, just stubbornly holding. And let's see what the Dow does here. Believe me, it's kind of tempting just to get in right there, but I'll wait. I don't want to get too loosey goosey. Let's look at soybean oil. Nothing there. So that's one thing too from a psychological perspective, guys. Let's look at cattle again. Yeah, picking up the daily there, but when you take like okay, like right there, I took a little loss on cattle. It's one of the things I tend to do is like if I take a loss, then I can be a little bit more like okay, the next trade I'll just like I can get a little loose, you know, and that's what you got to find these little things inside yourself, and you know when those things are coming. So when I take a loss, I can definitely get a little loose, which is not good. So I got to be aware of that and don't get loose. Just, okay, it's a loss, right? Stick to the program, stick to the program, stick to the program. When I get a win sometimes, like a big win, then I can get a little tight, right? Because you want to keep those winnings. So it's good when you know those, how your emotions are swinging back and forth. So get hogs. So hogs just kind of dumping, copper, tagging the extension up here. It's pretty darn strong though. I don't think I'd want to short copper up here, to be honest. It's looking pretty good. Gold rallying back up. ES, we'll see if we can leak lower. Soybean meal kind of trending down. I think we talked about this, right? In the analysis yesterday, I said I think soybean meal is going to have a lot of resistance up in here. So, and then soybeans as well, I haven't even looked at. Yeah, because I said that was a similar pattern to wheat, right? There, you see how the fractals, like there's that wheat pattern, good resistance, bang. So I saw the same thing in soybeans right there, good resistance up here. So if soybeans tries to rally up here and gives a reverse signal, I think that'd be a great spot to potentially get short. So heating oil, kind of just, I mean, if we get a pullback in heating oil, it here could be good for a long. I mean, I'm going to have to bring it up because it's trending, it's strong. Commodities are strong right now. I forget what the size contract is here, if I should go 1 or 2 contracts. Because like on cattle, I went 2 contracts, right? Because if it wins, it needs to be big, right? You got to take more risk. But I want it, like on Nasdaq, I'll go 1 contract to start because that's if I lose, that's going to be a $400 loss. So my other markets need to be similar, right? So I think, I can't remember, but I think heating oil, you know, I might have to go 2 contracts. I'm not really sure. You just have to wait and see where this closes. If it closes down here and we got an extension, I think that'd be good for a potential pullback long in a trend. I mean, the only question is, are we going to stop right here on that daily DML? I mean, this looks pretty strong, and the weekly looks like it wants to be headed up here. So I don't know. The energies kind of look strong to me. So if I get a pullback in a trend, I'd probably just, if it's a good pullback, I'd probably have to take it. So there's feeder cattle, not much. We get, you know, there's crude. You know, crude could give us, crude's already cleared its DML, so that'd be a good pullback on crude if we could get it. Just keep an eye on heating oil. You're breaking the extension there, but if this extension drops down here, ES, there we go. Nice, Ralph. Yeah, let's see where that closes for sure. It's, I mean, for those that are super aggressive, you know, if you start to see some buying come in here, you know, knock yourself out. I'm waiting. That doesn't mean that I'm right. I might miss and this thing goes up, or it might be, you know, good that I'm waiting and this thing goes lower. I don't know. Platinum pushing. So heating oil. So there's heating oil. So is this going to be another round tripper for heating oil? Okay, I'm not going to take that, and the reason is we closed below the oncoming extension. You see, so that just kind of keeps me out of that on heating oil, which is great. Let's look at crude, because crude, you know, could potentially, we still got some contracts left to trade on crude, but that could potentially be a decent pullback. If crude pulls back here into a pocket and the DMLs look good, I'm buying crude for, I'm going to buy, and if it works, I'm going to hold and add for a potential push up to 65. You know, because that's not a bad trend. At least we got some volatility today, right? Yeah, I mean, the Trump dump. He's like, all right, boys, when I do this, it's going to be fake news, get short. He's got a remarkably soft voice, Trump. All right, so let's wait for ES here. NQ, oh, finally joining the party. He really does. He's like, all right, we're going to do this. Let's see what NQ gives us down here. Still got plenty, you know, well, 10,000 contracts on Nasdaq, so that could be interesting. What is that? That is live cattle, which there's the little dump on live cattle. Nice. So I don't know. Maybe I rushed it because we didn't quite get to the extension yet. I don't know. Perhaps. Can't be perfect. So looking at the Nasdaq here, I mean, I'd be interested down here. We're not there yet. The Dow, this is looking like could potentially be a nice reverse. See, this is why I don't want to let the tail wag the dog. You know, you had a little flash there. You're like, oh, you know, I'm just going to buy it. I like to wait for the higher time period and then, you know, use. So here on the Dow, we're getting kind of close. So if this sucked back up and held here, then I probably would have no choice. And then we just have to wait and see. We still have about 700 contracts left on the Dow. And if I got in on the Dow, you know, I would try to hold for backup here. You know, I really would. I would try to add as well once we got going. But, you know, we'll see. ES trying to hold here. It's an alert on corn. Oh, yeah, there's that resistance level on corn, huh? Wow. There's the Dow signaling. We still got about 400 contracts to go on the Dow, but you know, it's looking, there's a lot of support there I'm going to have to bet on. But I'm waiting for the close, which could be a mistake. Or not. 300 contracts to go. $200 to go. I'm just waiting on the Dow here. Still waiting a little bit. Just want to see It's not bad. I like that true average a little below us, but that's not a bad spot. Let's see what the lower time period does here. We did break the daily there, but you know, I would kind of want to see reclamation. That's why I'm not getting in yet on the Dow. I'll wait. See if this, I'll wait another 5,000. And if this closes back up here, then I'd be more willing to, you know, catch it later, but then I'd have a lot more confirmation. So that's what I'll do on the Dow. So ES, I'm getting kind of close. Nasdaq, not really at our support level yet, but ES certainly is. So I'll bring up ES. And, you know, you're here. So there's NQ, but NQ waiting a little bit. So ES, what's Dow doing? So Dow's just hanging out. We're waiting on the Dow, but ES, you know, it's kind of similar. You're breaking the extension here. The true average is above us for now. So I wouldn't be in a rush on that, even though it could just fire back up. But this would need to close back up here on the ES. We still have 14,000 contracts to trade. So let's see. Yeah, it's really nice to have that lower time period. For sure, Christian. All right, let's look at soybean meal. Nope. Let's look at ES. Crude was maybe setting up, but we still got some contracts left to trade. Crude could be setting up a buy in the trend. We'll see. Oh, I'm tired today. My 5-year-old is just exhausting me. Exhausted me last night. Exhausted me this morning. That's why I'm not really trading my live account today. Probably won't trade XFAs because I'm tired unless I see something phenomenal. And the Tradeifys, you know, I can handle trading those today. So that's another thing, guys. When you have different accounts, you make different decisions about what you're going to trade on different days depending on how you feel, right? Today I got a lot on my mind. I got to go register the baby later. The kid was driving me crazy, you know. And if you don't have kids and you're young, take advantage of that to learn how to trade because you're never going to have a better opportunity in your life. Once the responsibilities come, it does get harder. So where I want to see something here real quick. I want to see where so we got an alert on soybeans. So yeah, you got there's the zone there, and you got all these here. So I would want to see this. If we close kind of, you know, I'd like that core to lift, but anywhere I'd like this to close, you know, above that there, right? I just sometimes I have to remove the daily levels because I can't really see what's what. So soybeans, it's kind of pushing down. Cattle, yeah, just kind of consolidating up there. The Dow pushing lower. So, you know, you see how I'm filtering out these trades. NQ, ES. So ES, we just wait. Look, the lower it goes, in my view, and I could be dead wrong, could be a trend down day, but the lower it goes, the better the reversal buy opportunity, I'm thinking. But I'm just going to wait for confirmation. Still got about 4,000 contracts left here on ES. Nasdaq still not really dumping. We are 9:56 a.m. Eastern. Got to wake up a little bit here. Bitcoin kind of surprising. I thought Bitcoin would push out of that pocket. It's kind of lollygagging around. So we got 10 a.m. Any news coming out at 10? I gotta check. I don't think so. We got NFP tomorrow, so typically not, but let's check. There's ES. So no. Nice. So you did have the ECB interest rate and the ECB press conference. I remembered that, but that doesn't typically have too much of an effect on the US markets. They tend not to care too much about that. So we'll see. I mean, could be, I would expect support here somewhere, but I'm just going to wait because that's not confirming for me yet. Just like the Dow didn't really confirm. You see how the Dow didn't confirm? And then if you kind of just use, you know, what we know, you just wait. And yeah, you still take losses like cattle, you know, but, you know, could be, I mean, maybe one thing, I'm not really sure, but this could be something to learn from. When I shorted here, I mean, the middle of the envelope was outside the envelope top. I know that that happens because of the gap in the overnight, but still, that's telling us that's pretty darn strong. So I'm just make a mental note of that. You guys make a mental note of that as well. So you get silver hanging out, not doing much. Crude, you know, I'm kind of digging this pullback potentially. Still got some contracts to trade. I'm gonna bring up crude on the DOM. A lot of nice support down here. It could be it right there, but let's see. I'm gonna wait for this higher time period to close. Nasdaq still stubborn at that 700 level. Dow, you know, pushing. We'll just wait and see. NQ, got to wait for down here probably. ES, you're in the support zone. Let's wait and see. So probably crude is going to be our next alert, but we still have 1,800 contracts to trade. Might get a long here on crude. There's copper. A little dump off the extension there for sure. I mean, a lot of these daily levels are just so good. I mean, at some point I might just do away with the intraday and be like, I really like that daily level because we're overextended. And if we get there, I mean, a lot of them just nail it to the freaking tick. I mean, it's incredible. Like on corn, I was, you know, I said in the analysis last night, I go, that's a lot of resistance there. Everything, you know, and look, just, you know, bang. So lots of different ways to skin the cat. For now, this is good. My goal eventually is to make trading, like make the decision making as easy as possible and obviously limit the risk as much as possible and maximize the gains as much as possible. Right? That's pretty much the name of the game. Yeah, exactly, Tim. I'm kind of, especially when you go into the day with the end of day analysis that we have, which is so good. It's just like I can see during the day when a daily level looks good to me, and you know maybe the intraday is overkill. You know, I don't know. In this situation, you know, the intraday helped. You know, let's say on the Dow, because I would have liked that level and I would have taken a loss, but not a big one because you're betting on the level. If it breaks, you're out, right? But then on corn, you know, copper, yeah, it's still a lot to be determined. I mean, Gold on this day, the level would be down here, right? So we keep an eye on that. I mean, I do like when these patterns confirm levels, but it's something for us to keep an eye on in terms of just recognizing when the daily levels get hit. Because like copper, you know, that's a pretty big push. And then you're tagging that extension. It's like you're probably going to get a reaction, even though the market's strong. You're probably going to get a little move off that because you've come so far, right? So nat gas kind of dumping here. I mean, it's not a bad little flash for a reversal right there. I could have potentially missed that on nat gas. Maybe it's kind of what I was looking for on cattle, something like that. And that flash reversal. So you got the DMLs here. That might have been missed. So again, it just like yesterday, I wouldn't have missed that because I was much more focused and well rested. Today, because of my 5-year-old, I'm not as focused and I'm not as rested. So there's cattle. Oh, sorry, hogs. Here's cattle doing its thing. Nothing there. ES, NQ, still just sitting here. The Dow, see if it tries to, you know, look, we could get, this could be similar to that Nasdaq, you know, on Friday, the reclaim there and then like that. So keep an eye out for that. There's crude. So now crude is pulling back. Just want to see. That's looking pretty darn good there. Potentially. So crude I might buy here. I might just have no choice whatsoever. You're pulling back to the broken daily DMLs here that, you know, these were resistance. Now they should be support. Crude's a wild beast, but let's see. I mean, I'm probably going to have to take a shot here because we haven't really, I think crude can go farther. I don't feel like we're overextended yet. I mean, yeah, we've made a decent move. Definitely. I do get that. We've probably made the daily range. So that's one thing to kind of consider, but I don't know, it looks pretty, that's the only thing to consider is that we've made that daily range, but that still looks, I might have to take it, even though I'm aware that we are kind of overextended as well. Heating oil hanging out. Gasoline still has a ways to go. Let's see. I'm watching it anyways. We got 2 alerts on crude, so apparently this chart probably has an alert on. Pretty big selling there on the footprint, but you know, that'll happen when the bar's going down. This would be like, in my view, it's a low risk because like this congestion support level here, like this has got to hold. So if this, I put my stop down here, if it breaks, I'm just out, you know? So it's not really a whole lot I would be able to do about that. Nasdaq trying to push. See, it's tough when this is, if this is going to close up here in the middle. I mean, you would think I like it more, but I don't. Gasoline. There's congestion entrance up, you know, that's a pretty good sign. I'll probably, I think that could just go up there, but based on the fact that we already have put in the average daily range, I do kind of feel like down here would be better. Look, if this wants to just push straight up from here, it can do that, and it might. But I would have kind of, what I was looking for was this. to the extensions here. And then I was looking for this to flash and then just try and get a very low risk buy right here and see if it, went like that. So it could go up from here for sure, but it also could try to go lower. So I'm just gonna, I don't feel like I'm being, so I always gotta ask myself now, am I being a little too careful? That's one of my checklist things now. And on that crude one, I don't think so. Like I have reasons for being careful there. So ES could be setting up a reversal here, a little reclamation reversal. NQ is holding on. The Dow is trying to set up its reversal. We've got some, bring the Dow up on the DOM. Get back above here. So see if we get a long on the Dow. If we get a close in 800 contracts above here, I mean, that would be just like that Nasdaq reversal we had for about 100 points on Friday. Be a very similar situation, right? Where you're in the range and then you just kind of poke your head outside the range, suck in the shorts. Then we get our confirmation and off you go. Let's see if that happens today. And then we would hold and add without fear. Just let the chips fall where they may. The Russell. Nice little reversal here off the Russ. Might have to take that. Might have to be in the Russ and the Dow. Oh yeah, Russ looking strong. So let's see where this closes here on the Russ. And then we also got to check the Dow. So we're waiting on the Dow, still 400 contracts. The Russ, we still got about 600 contracts. Wheat, let's leave that alone right now while we're stocking the Russell and the Dow. The Dow is there, waiting. Russell. Got about 400 contracts here till the Russell closes and either confirms that signal or doesn't. Right now it's not. Nasdaq, a little false breakout to the upside and then maybe trap some longs and now trying to head down. I hope we get more trades because otherwise my highlight reel is going to be a cow at the butcher and I'm going to have to say that I lost $400 on live cattle. All right, there's the close on the Russ. I mean, you're closing above the middle of the envelope here, but I'm not going to take it because the core is above you, resistance, the yellow dot, and the pink dot extension is above you, resistance. So yeah, we could go up, but I want to close above that resistance, and we didn't do that. So let's go look at the Dow. The Dow is also, we still got about 200 contracts, not looking like the Dow is going to confirm unless it rallies from 355 to 430. So unless Trump tweets and pushes the Dow 100 points in the next 100 contracts, probably not going to be longing the Dow. Just continue to wait. The lower it goes, I think the better the reversal. Nasdaq still kind of hanging out. There's the Dow trying. So 50 contracts left on the Dow. And we'll take a look at hogs. Got to get the Dow up on the DOM. Boom. $28 contracts to go, 20. You see, the Dow can cover some ground in 30 or 40 contracts. But it's not confirming for me unless the next 15 contracts push much higher. So we get hogs. We don't want to miss anything. Hogs are in a nice trend run to the downside, reclaiming the weekly range. So if hogs get into a downtrend here, you know, we could look to get short a pullback potentially. ES trying, let's see, NQ holding. There's the Dow. I mean, anything could happen, but I that's not good enough for me. ES, we still got time. NQ, still waiting for more contracts to trade. The Russell, I mean, it just didn't trigger my long there. So even if it squeezes without me, I got to just be okay with that. Gold here, we still got some contracts to trade. Silver, yeah, consolidating those highs. Copper waiting. Platinum, incredible. There's the 30-year. So yeah, the ultras are just kind of sitting here. Crude, I decided not to long that because of the average true range already being too big at that point. So let's wait for our alerts. Keep an eye on, you know, see, because if the Russell starts to squeeze, but we didn't get the signal on the Russell, it's just like the other day, right? On Friday, I think, was it ES or something that we kind of didn't get the signal on, but then NQ gave the perfect signal, right? Thanks, AJ. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, guys, give a like. That'd be awesome. Thank you, my man. Appreciate it. So there's our Ultra Bonds alert. Not really much I want to do there. Nasdaq just kind of hanging out here at this 700 level. This could be potentially... I like the ES down here, depending, I mean, where this closes. NQ could be just setting up for a sneaky little pocket here to push higher, but I'd like it down here. Russell. So it's 10:15 a.m. Waiting to see if we get a long confirmation on ES. Waiting for this bar to close. Still have about 48,000 contracts, but you can see I mean, right now we're already getting some confirmation, right? You're basing out here into this key VolPro Edge support level on the daily chart right there. So see, I'm going to wait for that to close. Just give me a couple minutes, guys. I'll be right back. All right, we got an alert for cattle. Looks pretty strong. You got a little pocket here, but pass. Let's look at corn. Beautiful collapse off the level. I know there's a lot of support down here, but on the monthly, but I'm not going to bet on that down here on corn. Breaking through all that. ES still just kind of sitting. Nasdaq sitting. Dow sitting. Russell sitting. Gold. Silver congesting. Alert for heating oil. Probably not going to take it for the same reasons as crude. Yeah, so far that I tried a short there in live cattle. I think the mistake there, I mean, just a loss, $400, no big deal, but in the future I'm not going to go short when the middle of the envelope is outside the top. But that is because of that gap, but still it's valid. So that's important. You know, we did break that there and we were closing underneath all that. So that was, you know, there's a lot of potential resistance there. I didn't really mind that was there, but that's how that kind of after the fact. That's kind of just something to learn there. And then nat gas, I would say, I think I was stocking something else, but that's not a bad short right there with that flash coming out of the high a day. You've got some nice DMLs here. You know, that extension is not like pressing up against you. So that was probably a good short there on nat gas that I just didn't see. Here's hogs. ES and NQ, well, ES especially, because we're outside the range. So just kind of waiting to see if we react off this. This is a very strong daily support level. That could see a move back up here towards 6,000. So right now I'm going to bring ES up on the DOM. We still have some contracts left to trade, but let's wait and see, because if ES closes kind of up in here, Nasdaq so far holding firm too. So that could suggest that ES wants to push back up. Believe me, I'm pretty tempted just to get in on ES right here, but I'm going to wait. I think this is going to close up here. Feeder cattle. Looking pretty bullish here. You know, is that a push right there? It could be. We're at the weekly extension. That is true. So got to be aware of that. But kind of looks like this wants to push up here. But ES, I think, is looking pretty darn good for a long. Feels like we're sneaking back up into the range. I'm going to wait just because, you know, normally I would want that to be more of a trend down for a reversal, but there's just so much support here. What's up, Zest? Good morning. You missed a live cattle loss for $400, but it wasn't a bad trade. I think ES is going to push up out of this support. Yeah, there's some good volatility today for sure. Sorry to hear about your migraine. That sucks. I hate headaches. Yeah, it looks like ES probably wants to catch back up inside the range. That would be like a catch-up trade because Nasdaq's pushing back up. The Dow's trying to push here. Russell is pushing up through that. So I think ES is probably going now. So I think ES, just kind of waiting to see. I think it's going up. And Q probably headed back up here. Looks like it's ranging nicely. But I don't have a signal, but you're in congestion and probably you're headed back up now. ES the same. I think you're probably headed back up to 995. The Dow trying, but no signal really. This could be a potential. We'll see where that is. Russell, I mean, breaking through all that, that's pretty strong, but not my signal. So ES, I think, is probably going to go up. Nasdaq is pushing. I'm highly tempted to scalp ES right here. Oh, look, yeah, catching up. But I'm sticking to my process. Wow, look at Nasdaq. The Nasdaq. Copper. Dow. Russell. And Q. Just looking at other charts over here. Right there, daily DMLs, extension, middle of the envelope. So that's a lot of support right there, Jacob. Right here on Sierra anyways. You see it right there? Yep. Well, I kind of didn't trigger my entry here, but no worries. I was debating getting in at like 75 because I thought it was going to catch up to Nasdaq. Yeah, I mean, NQ probably going to head back up here. I would have liked it more down here, but you know, if we're going to trend up now, if you're going to look for NQ, you could look for something like that. I mean, it may just go like that. ES, you know, I'm waiting for this bar to close here, and just depending if it sets up my reversal, I could look to potentially, you know, get in for something like that on ES. But I'm just trying to follow my rules here and wait for this to close. That one didn't trigger it. So I kind of, you know, I felt like, when this was at like 73, 74, I was like, you know, this is going to want to catch up to NQ because you could see NQ pushing. But I'm just trying to stick to my process. NQ. There's the Dow. The Dow was waiting for a close up here, didn't get it. Russell didn't quite trigger, was waiting for a close above that on that bar, didn't get it, but still, you know, it did tag the extension right there on the Russell. I mean, speaking of what Tim and I were talking about, there you go. So here is cattle. Ralph 6850 gave me the signal on the 4K. I know it's riskier. I had to use micros, but that's the trade. Nice. On the 4K. What are you talking about crude, Ralph? No, you're not talking about crude. What are you talking about? Oh, okay. Oh, you had to use the 4K on the ES. I got you. Yeah, no, that's a great trade, man. I'd hold that back up to here if I were you, if you're not already out. Cool. Do that, Ralph. Good job, man. Copper, platinum, ultra bonds. So crude made a good decision by not longing up there. So yeah, I mean, the 20Ks were telling us that all that support right there was valid. I was waiting for, you know, this. I know. That was all overnight though in silver, Zest. It was all London again. Just look at New York on silver. Disaster. But look at Asia, London, just beautiful. So it's just not the New York markets at the exact moment. Nat gas, not feeling good that I missed that. What time did that happen? Nice. So that was right. I was watching the indices at the open. That's why. It's a shame. That would have been a good short on nat gas. That's a good signal right there. That's what I'm waiting for. So, not a good day. Still working out things in the house. My daughter's being a disaster every single day, evening and morning. So, about to send her off to boarding school, to be honest. Like I've literally debated it. She's been a disaster. I love her to death, but she is a tough cookie. Her energy kind of takes over the house, and it has since she was born. So here's wheat. So just kind of waiting. I'm waiting for ES is going to close here. If we get a close down here, I'm probably going to have to buy it. Yeah, you got that there, but I think reclaiming, you got these. I'd feel better if that extension was underneath us, but you know, let's just see. Still not a bad little reversal here. You're in the middle of the range now, which I don't really particularly like. This was a good one on nat gas. I think I just wasn't as focused on my process right here, which is fine. I can't cry over spilled milk. So here's ES. See where this closes. We just got an alert. I'm just waiting for now. I'm just following. See where this higher time period closes. I'm gonna wait. Oh, we should have closed up there. So still a lot of support here at the extension for sure. The daily, definitely. I mean, kind of a choppy day. Nasdaq, you know, quick little 60-point drop. Yeah, ES. It's kind of tricky right there, Jacob. I was debating getting in earlier at like 72. And then I kind of was kicking myself when it had higher, but then I'm like, nah, I gotta wait for my higher time period to close. Sorry, you got smoked. There's a lot of support down here. Let's just see what happens. NQ is gonna close here. I mean, that's a pretty nice little pocket right there. We're not really at that support level, but you know, let's see. I mean, we're not at the daily extension yet. Soybean oil, not a whole lot. NQ. Keep an eye on NQ real quick. McAfee wants me to sign up again. No thanks, McAfee. How about no? So we're going to alert on the Russell and corn. Corn nailed our level in reverse. That was, interesting. Corn could go back up there. Just there's the Russell, not much. There's the Nasdaq. I mean, a lot of support here on the Nasdaq congestion. So just keep that in mind. It's a wild and crazy day. Look at that. Wow. That was incredible. Look at the Nasdaq. That's funny. So 10:36 a.m. Yep. A lot of stuff going on here. Check something real quick. Kind of pre-NFP stuff going on here. It's the Dow, feeder, soybeans, Russell. That's tricky. Nat gas. So yeah, it's that kind of day. Yeah, pretty much, just pretty much just the way New York's been, huh? So I gotta go register my baby today soon, so we'll see how long I decide to hang out. I'm not in a great mood from my child. I heard she fought the driver the whole way to school. She fought her nanny the whole way to the car. So boarding school's looking really good at this point. Hmm. Yeah, sorry to hear that, Adam. It's weird times we're living in when we got all this tariffs and oh, there's a call and oh, Trump tweets and like I said, I think politicians and anybody in power should be absolutely banned from tweeting or anything. When you have that kind of a power to move the market, you should not be allowed to do it. I mean, it's just it's crazy. People don't think about that stuff though. So let's look at the hogs. Yes, I mean this is pretty. You guys got to remember too, it's pre-NFP, so just don't. I don't really usually have high expectations pre-NFP. So, and it's looking like this market is on low liquidity. It's just jerking back and forth. You can kind of see that. So just be careful about that. Just keeping an eye over here. Silver. I mean, that's the nice thing about the metals is they don't really react to all the bullshit. They just kind of do their thing, you know? I kind of appreciate that about them. Here you go. Somebody's tweeting. Hmm. Yeah, I'd definitely say some updates from the call or whatever for sure. Probably the case. It's kind of pre-NFP craziness. I'm just testing some algo stuff over here while I wait for stuff. Kind of got a lot going on. Kind of feels like it's like the volatility is like is Trump giving a press conference or something. That's pretty crazy volatility, huh? Hmm. Getting some alerts going on. All right, let's see. I think the whatever's going on between Trump and Xi and all this bullshit, it's being exacerbated because pre-NFP low liquidity levels. That's kind of what I think. So let's see what alerts we're getting. So there's the Russell leaking lower. Oh, sorry, that's gold. Russell, nothing there I really want to do. Yeah, feeder cattle. I was kind of debating that long right there on feeder cattle, but we were right into the weekly extension, but I thought it was going to break. Anyways, fun to familiarize ourselves with feeder cattle. Here's soybean oil. Here's ES again. I think this is probably going to be range bound, but I'm not going to short that because it's going against my daily bias, but certainly this is our key support level down here. Nasdaq, let's see the Dow. Yeah. So that was kind of tricky right there on the Dow. Like if you missed it, don't feel bad. I mean, look, this, went up, smashed down, going back up. Like this is, especially on the indices right now, guys, this is when you got the Trump stuff going on, you get these big herky jerky moves. It's like we're either getting no volatility or like this kind of herky jerky bullshit volatility, So it's just the way it is this week. Russell, that's why it's just not a whole lot going on. I mean, gold, I think you got a lot of support down here. 33.80. If it holds, it could be a good opportunity for a long. We'll see. If it breaks, it could be a big break of support. Silver, copper, platinum. Ultra bonds, crude. Yeah. So there's the alert on ultra bonds. So any news coming across the wire? Some updates? Yeah, Christian, anything? Are they saying anything? Like, I think it seems to me like that push or whatever. Maybe did Trump come out on Truth Social and confirm that he did talk to Xi? Personally, I think politics is like, I think it's all kind of a big comedy show. I don't think any of it's real. But it moves the market because, you know, algos are programmed and it's a narrative, right? I think that's what politics, I think that's what that is. It's narrative control. That'd be a good way to describe it, I think. So get nat gas. Kind of trending down. Is that like a short on nat gas? Maybe. I could maybe entertain a short on nat gas. Let's see what the lower time period. That's pretty nice. Right there. It would kind of have to, I'd want to short it like right up in here potentially if it went there. Maybe. Right up in here. Because that's I would say trending down, a little bit of a pullback in the trend. This is the one. That was the move I'm looking for. But let's wait and see. So ES. So Ralph got a Zoom thing. Nice. I think it's a good day to kind of not do a whole lot today, guys. I took a little loss on live cattle. I'm okay with that, but soon I'm going to jump off because I got to go register my baby. I got to land a little from my 5-year-old driving me crazy. I can feel the cortisol levels are increased and it's just not a good day to take risk. So I'm probably going to call it a day soon. And I would recommend if you guys are going to trade, you know, be careful because the liquidity is not there. Trump's tweeting and we're awaiting non-farm payrolls tomorrow, which means the liquidity is a lot lower, right? So I kind of want to gear up my energy and save my capital so that if NFP gives us really good moves tomorrow, you know, we're well rested. You know, we haven't dug ourselves a hole mentally or capital wise, and then you're ready to take advantage of that, right? So I think that's kind of going to be where I leave it. You guys got any questions before I head out of here? I'll kick around for another 5 minutes or so. But I would recommend not, you know, if you've got a hobby, today could be a good day to go do that hobby. You know, or paper trade. Not that there aren't good moves. I think it's just a little bit more challenging. As for me, you know, what did I do? Well, I took a little loss on live cattle here, but I learned from it. I didn't see the middle of the envelope, outside the envelope top. Probably not a good spot to short because that means that's a very strong market on that gap. But at the time I was looking at all that resistance reversal, almost tagged the extension. So I don't really regret it. I took a small loss, so I'm okay with that. Nat gas, the beautiful signal that I know I would have taken here triggered right around the market open. I was too fixated on watching the Nasdaq for some strange reason, probably because I'm tired and didn't have a good evening or morning with my child. So I kind of missed that. But other than that, the metals just kind of ripped during Asia and London. So they were just been consolidating. Crude as well. So from my perspective, could have been a really good day with that, you know, nat gas short, but I missed it. So let me know if you guys got any questions. We're noticing, Tim and I and some others, you're noticing that oftentimes these daily levels we like, I mean, when they hit, it's not a bad place just to get in kind of regardless of what the lower time period's telling you, because they're pretty strong and pretty darn good. Just got a little more coffee left. Let me know if you guys have any questions, or I'll wrap it up soon. And tomorrow, look, NFP's at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. That's 6:30 my time. So I'm not going to trade NFP because I wouldn't, you know, I don't put trades on heading into that kind of announcement. So we'll probably start like, you know, right around when the news is coming out, like we normally do at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. And then we'll let them see what the market does and see what kind of opportunities we have. So, all right, guys. So if you don't have any questions or anything, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for today. Sorry there wasn't more going on, but on this kind of a day, it's a perfect day for me to go register my new child with the civil registry that closes in Costa Rica very, very early. Yeah, it is. It's kind of a good day to not do much, Christian. Yeah, you know, a lot of the government offices here, they function on half days, right? It's like, hey, you know, we're government employees here in Costa Rica. We don't really want to work past noon. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I'll see you in the Discord. I'll be back. I just got things to prepare. I got documents I got to print out. I got to get ready for this because you got to register your baby. And then once we register the baby, we got to use that to get some other documents. So be nice to have all that behind me. And yeah, we just keep it going. So hope you guys had a good day. Thanks for being here. Tomorrow, I'm expecting hopefully a long day and a good day, which would be hopefully make up for the whole kind of quiet week. That would be nice. So I'll see you guys. Thank you.